Have you ever opened your fridge, stared at the shelves and thought, what's actually good for me now? I get it. Somewhere along the way, food stopped being just about taste. It became about energy, healing, strength, and staying independent. For as long as possible. And let's be honest, the advice out there, it's overwhelming. Low this, high that, superfoods, supplements. It's enough to make your head spin. But here's the beautiful truth. Nourishing yourself well in your golden years doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't mean buying exotic ingredients or following strict diets. It simply means leaning into foods that love you back. Foods that give you strength, protect your bones, sharpen your mind, and keep your heart humming along. In this video, we're talking about 9 foods that doctors, dietitians, and researchers agree can be powerful allies in your journey. And the best part? Most of them are easy to find, affordable, and downright delicious. So if you're ready to feel more vibrant, more energetic, and more confident every time you sit down to eat, let's get started. The first food might surprise you, but it's one of the oldest and most comforting: oatmeal. I know, it sounds simple, maybe even a little boring. But oatmeal is like a hug for your heart. Packed with soluble fiber, it helps lower bad cholesterol and keep your arteries clear. And the warmth of a morning bowl isn't just soothing. It sets a gentle rhythm for your digestion, helping things move along in a way that's kind to your system. But there's more. Fiber keeps you fuller longer, so you're less likely to reach for empty-calorie snacks later. And did you know that studies show regular oatmeal eaters tend to have better blood sugar control? That's huge, especially since so many of us are trying to manage or avoid diabetes in later life. The trick is keeping it simple. Skip the sugar-laden packets and make your own. A sprinkle of cinnamon, a few fresh berries, maybe a spoonful of chia seeds, and suddenly your humble oatmeal turns into a powerhouse breakfast. Speaking of berries, that brings me to our next food. Have you ever wondered why doctors are always raving about blueberries? It's not just because they taste good, although they do. Blueberries are tiny, but they pack a mighty punch when it comes to protecting your brain. Research has linked them to better memory, sharper thinking, and even a reduced risk of cognitive decline as we age. And it's not just blueberries. Strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, they all carry those beautiful antioxidants that fight the inflammation that slowly chips away at our health. The deep, rich colors? That's nature's way of saying, hey, I've got your back, you don't have to eat a mountain of them either. A small handful in your oatmeal, tossed into a yogurt, blended into a smoothie. Easy. And yes, frozen. Berries count too, so don't worry if fresh ones aren't always in season. Now let's talk about a food that's been on our plates forever, but deserves a moment in the spotlight: leafy greens. I know. You've heard it before. Eat your greens. But here's why it matters now more than ever. As we get older, we naturally lose bone density, muscle mass, and flexibility. Leafy greens like spinach, kale, collard greens, and Swiss chard are rich in calcium, vitamin K, and magnesium, all essential for keeping your bones strong and your balance steady. And it's not just about bones. Greens are also loaded with folate, which supports brain health, and lutein, which helps protect your eyes from age-related decline. Plus, they're high in fiber and low in calories, meaning you can fill your plate without filling out your waistline. If you're not a fan of salads, don't worry. Sneak them into soups, stews, scrambled eggs, or blend a handful into a fruit smoothie. Little by little, you'll find ways to make them part of your rhythm, and your body will thank you. As we ease into this journey of nourishing ourselves better, I want you to pause for a second and really feel this. Every small step counts. You don't have to overhaul your pantry overnight. You don't have to follow a perfect plan. Even adding just one of these foods a few times a week is a win. And wins, my friend, have a beautiful way of adding up. Now that we've warmed up with a cozy bowl of oatmeal, a sprinkle of berries, and some leafy greens, let's talk about a food that's been quietly working behind the scenes for centuries: salmon. Or really any fatty fish like mackerel, sardines, or trout. You've probably heard about omega-3s, but let me tell you, their benefits go beyond just a catchy health trend. Omega-3 fatty acids are like a natural oil for your brain and joints. They help reduce inflammation, which is a sneaky culprit behind everything from arthritis to heart disease to cognitive decline. In fact, studies have shown that regular intake of omega-3s can help protect memory, lower the risk of dementia, and even lift your mood. Yes, you heard that right. Eating fish can literally brighten your day. And it's not just your brain that benefits. Omega-3s are powerful allies for heart health, helping to lower triglycerides, keep blood pressure in check, and prevent those tiny clots that can cause big problems. The American Heart Association recommends at least 2 servings of fatty fish per week. But if fish isn't your thing, don't worry. You can still get omega-3s from flax seeds, chia seeds, or walnuts. Picture this: a simple dinner of baked salmon, a side of steamed greens, and maybe a few roasted sweet potatoes. Nourishing, satisfying, and surprisingly easy to make. And the beauty? Every bite is doing double duty, feeding both your body and your mind. Speaking of sweet potatoes, let's shine a light on them for a moment. This humble root veggie is one of nature's unsung heroes. Sweet potatoes are rich in beta-carotene, which the body converts into vitamin A, a nutrient that keeps your skin healthy, supports your immune system, and protects your eyesight. And let's be honest, who doesn't love a touch of natural sweetness on the plate? But there's more. Sweet potatoes are high in fiber and complex carbs, meaning they provide steady energy without the blood sugar roller coaster that white bread or sugary snacks can trigger. And their vibrant orange color? That's not just pretty, it's a sign of powerful antioxidants working behind the scenes. Try swapping them in for regular potatoes once or twice a week. Roast them in olive oil with a sprinkle of cinnamon, mash them with a touch of butter, or cube them into soups and stews. Little changes, big impact. Now here's a food you might not expect to be on the list. Nuts. Yes, those tiny, crunchy bites that often show up in snack bowls or holiday tins. Nuts, especially almonds, walnuts, and pistachios, are packed with healthy fats, fiber, and protein. They're like little nutritional powerhouses in a shell. Eating a small handful of nuts regularly has been linked to lower risks of heart disease, better weight management, and even improved longevity. And the beauty? They're portable, versatile, and satisfying. Toss them into oatmeal, sprinkle them on salads, or enjoy them plain as a midday snack. I know what you might be thinking, but aren't nuts fattening? Here's the good news. Research shows that the fats in nuts are the good kind, the kind that supports heart health and keeps you feeling full longer. Of course, portion control matters, but a small handful goes a long way. And while we're talking about tiny foods with big benefits, let's not forget about beans. Beans are the unsung heroes of the pantry. Affordable, versatile, and packed with plant-based protein, fiber, iron, and folate. Adding beans to your meals can help stabilize blood sugar, lower cholesterol, and keep your digestive system happy. Black beans, lentils, chickpeas, navy beans, they all carry powerful nutrients. And don't worry, you don't have to eat a giant bean salad to get the benefits. Stir some into soups, puree them into spreads, or mix them into rice dishes. Every spoonful is feeding your muscles, your heart, and your gut. I want you to imagine for a moment what it feels like to nourish yourself this way. Not through restriction or complicated plans, but through simple, joyful choices. A colorful plate, a comforting meal, a body that feels cared for. That's what we're building here. One delicious bite at a time. Take a deep breath. Let that feeling sink in. And know that every step you're taking matters. Every meal is a new opportunity to choose foods that love you back. Now that we've built such a vibrant, nourishing plate so far, let's talk about something as refreshing as it is powerful. Yogurt. But not just any yogurt. I'm talking about plain, unsweetened yogurt with live cultures. This humble food packs a mighty punch when it comes to supporting gut health. You see, inside each of us is an entire universe of bacteria, our gut microbiome. And research shows that keeping this microbiome balanced is key to digestion, immunity, even mental clarity. Probiotics, the good bacteria in yogurt, help feed and maintain that balance. Think of them as tiny helpers, quietly strengthening your defenses from the inside out. And it's not just about digestion. A healthy gut is linked to lower inflammation, better nutrient absorption, and even improved mood. Yes, your gut really does talk to your brain. So when you choose a daily serving of yogurt, you're investing in more than just your tummy. You're supporting your whole body's well-being. If dairy doesn't sit well with you, there are plenty of plant-based yogurts with live cultures. 2. Just aim for the unsweetened versions to skip the extra sugars. A few spoonfuls with some berries and a drizzle of honey. It's like dessert with benefits. Now, speaking of hydration, let's take a moment for something we often overlook. Water. I know it sounds simple, but staying well hydrated is one of the easiest and most powerful ways to support healthy aging. Yet, so many of us forget to drink enough, especially as we get older, and that natural thirst signal gets quieter. Did you know even mild dehydration can cause fatigue, confusion, headaches, and joint stiffness? Sometimes what feels like just getting older is actually the body quietly asking for more fluids. Water keeps everything flowing. Our digestion, circulation, even the cushioning in our joints. And while plain water is great, herbal teas, infused waters with lemon or cucumber, and broths all count toward hydration too. Here's a simple check. Next time you feel sluggish or achy, try sipping a glass of water and see how you feel a few minutes later. Little habits, big difference. And while we're hydrating, let's sprinkle in one more superfood that's easy to love. Berries. Whether it's blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, or blackberries, these little gems are bursting with antioxidants. And antioxidants? They're like tiny bodyguards, protecting your cells from damage and helping slow down the aging process. Studies show that berries can boost brain health, reduce the risk of heart disease, and support healthy blood pressure. And they're naturally sweet without spiking blood sugar the way processed sweets do. Keep a bag of frozen berries in the freezer, so they're always handy. Add them to oatmeal, blend them into smoothies, or enjoy them by the handful as a snack. Every bite is like a gift to your body. I want you to imagine sitting down to a colorful plate tomorrow morning. Maybe there's a dollop of yogurt topped with berries, a sprinkle of nuts, a slice of whole grain toast with avocado. Maybe there's a glass of water by your side, a hot tea brewing. How would it feel to start the day that way? Nourished, energized, cared for. That's the feeling we're creating here. Not a diet, not a rigid plan, but a loving practice of feeding ourselves foods that fuel, protect, and delight us. And isn't that what we all deserve? Now, as we think about adding those bright berries to our plates, let's take a moment for a food that's simple, earthy, and quietly powerful. Beans. Yes, humble little beans, whether it's black beans, chickpeas, lentils, or kidney beans, are nutritional powerhouses that often don't get enough attention. Beans are packed with fiber, which is like a gentle broom for your digestive system. Fiber helps keep things moving, keeps cholesterol in check, and even supports blood sugar control. And the bonus: that fiber feeds the good bacteria in your gut, just like yogurt does. But beans also deliver plant-based protein, iron, and important minerals without the saturated fat you might find in other protein sources. For seniors especially, beans are an easy, affordable way to get protein that supports muscle strength and bone health. Two things we want to hold on to as long as we can, and they're versatile. Toss them into salads, blend them into dips, simmer them into soups, or enjoy them as a warm side with herbs and olive oil. Every scoop adds nourishment. Speaking of strength, let's talk about salmon, or really, any fatty fish like sardines or mackerel if you prefer. These fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which have been shown to reduce inflammation, protect heart health, and even support brain function as we age. You know those little memory lapses, forgetting where you put your keys, struggling to recall a name? While completely normal, studies suggest that omega-3s can help slow cognitive decline and keep our brains sharper for longer. And it's not just about the brain. Omega-3s also support healthy joints, reducing stiffness and discomfort that can creep up over the years. They're like internal lubricants helping you stay mobile and active. If you're not a fish fan, you can still get omega-3s from flax seeds, chia seeds, or walnuts. But for the highest amounts, adding salmon or similar fish once or twice a week can be a delicious habit. Imagine a plate with baked salmon, a side of quinoa, and roasted veggies, maybe a squeeze of lemon on top. Simple, elegant, and nourishing. And, while we're thinking about adding flavor, let's give a big round of applause to one of the world's oldest, simplest condiments, olive oil. Good quality extra virgin olive oil isn't just tasty. It's loaded with heart-healthy monounsaturated fats and powerful antioxidants. People who follow Mediterranean-style diets rich in olive oil have some of the world's lowest rates of heart disease and some of the longest life expectancies. Drizzling olive oil over salads, veggies, or even a slice of whole-grain bread isn't just a treat for your taste buds. It's a gift to your heart, your brain, and even your skin. I want you to imagine your kitchen as a little wellness sanctuary. You don't need expensive supplements or complicated recipes. With foods like beans, berries, salmon, yogurt, olive oil, you're already building a table that supports longevity, strength, and joy. And here's what's beautiful. You don't have to overhaul everything overnight. Maybe tomorrow it's swapping butter for olive oil. Maybe next week it's trying salmon instead of red meat. Every small choice adds up, because eating well in our 60s, 70s, and beyond isn't about perfection. It's about love, about giving your body the care it's been giving you all these years. So today, as you stand in your kitchen, I hope you'll ask yourself, what's one small thing I can add to my plate that makes me feel stronger, more vibrant, more alive? And trust, even the tiniest steps matter. And as we reflect on all the goodness that simple whole foods can bring to our lives, I want to share another quiet hero in the world of nutrition: nuts. Yes, whether it's almonds, walnuts, pistachios, or cashews, a small handful of nuts each day can work wonders. They're rich in healthy fats, plant-based protein, fiber, and a wide array of vitamins and minerals. But what makes nuts so special, especially as we get older, is how they support heart health. You see, the combination of unsaturated fats, magnesium, and antioxidants in nuts helps lower bad LDL cholesterol while raising the good HDL kind. That balance reduces the risk of heart disease, the #1 cause of death worldwide. And it's not just the heart. Studies have found that people who regularly eat nuts tend to have lower rates of inflammation and even a reduced risk of cognitive decline. I love how easy they are too. A small handful makes the perfect snack. Between meals, sprinkle them on salads for a bit of crunch, stir them into oatmeal or yogurt, or enjoy them as a simple dessert with a drizzle of honey. And speaking of crunchy and green, let's not forget leafy greens: spinach, kale, Swiss chard, arugula. These greens are nutritional gold mines. They're packed with folate, vitamin K, lutein, and other compounds that protect eye health, bone density, and brain function. You know how sometimes you stand up a little too fast and feel lightheaded? Or you notice bruises showing up a little more easily? Leafy greens help with both circulation and clotting, thanks to vitamin K. And their antioxidants work behind the scenes, shielding your cells from damage that naturally accumulates over the years. The best part is you don't need to eat a giant bowl of kale every day. Even adding a handful of spinach to an omelet, blending some greens into a smoothie, or tossing arugula into a sandwich makes a meaningful difference. Picture your plate filled with colors: deep green leaves, vibrant berries, the rich pink of salmon, golden olive oil. Every color brings a different gift to your body, a symphony of nutrients working together to keep you strong, energized, and glowing. And here's something else I want you to remember. Eating well isn't about restriction or fear. It's about abundance, about choosing foods that make you feel good, foods that taste wonderful, foods that remind you of family dinners or favorite meals from the past, while giving your body the building blocks it needs to thrive today and tomorrow. Even if you've never thought much about nutrition before, it's never too late to start. Every nourishing meal, every smart swap, Every little effort counts. So as you think about your next grocery run, maybe ask yourself, what's one new food I can bring home this week that supports my health and happiness? That small step? It's how lifelong wellness begins, because you deserve a body that carries you into all the adventures still ahead. You deserve a mind that stays curious and sharp, and you deserve meals that aren't just fuel, but celebrations of life itself. And as we take in the beauty of these nourishing foods, whether it's the deep greens of spinach, the creamy richness of avocados, the simple power of beans, or the joyful burst of berries, I hope you're starting to see something bigger than just nutrition facts. It's really about honoring the incredible body that's carried you through so many chapters of life. About choosing every meal as a small act of care, a quiet vote for more energy, stronger bones, a sharper mind, and a heart that keeps beating steady for the adventures still waiting ahead. Because the truth is, every bite matters, not in a stressful, perfectionist way, but in a hopeful, empowering way. Every colorful plate is a chance to say, I'm showing up for myself today. And if that feels overwhelming, please know, you don't have to overhaul your diet overnight. It doesn't take fancy recipes or expensive superfoods. Sometimes it's as simple as swapping white bread for whole grain, or adding a handful of nuts to your snack, or saying yes to the salmon instead of the fried fish. Those small shifts, they add up in ways you may not even notice right away, but your body will, your energy will, your future will. I've seen it happen over and over. Friends in their 60s, even 80s making gentle, sustainable changes and finding themselves walking easier, thinking clearer, sleeping better. There's no age limit on feeling good. And maybe the biggest gift of eating well isn't even physical. It's that deep sense of agency, knowing you're still an active participant in your own health story, that you still get to shape what comes next. So as we wrap up today, I want to leave you with this. No matter where you're starting from, no matter what habits have built up over the years, it's never too late to nourish yourself, to choose foods that love you back, to sit down to a meal and feel proud, excited, even joyful. Here's to you, my friend, to your health, your strength, your joy. May your next meal be colorful, delicious, and filled with care for the body that's brought you so far and the life that's still unfolding. If you found this video helpful, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one food you're excited to add to your routine? And if you haven't already, please hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an uplifting tip on living your best life at any age. Thank you for spending this time with me. And here's to many more vibrant, flavorful, beautiful days ahead.